What's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with that real boxing talk, you dig, and midnight grind. I'm out here trying to catch up on Dragon Ball Super. And came across, an interesting, dilemma. Apparently, Luis King Kong Ortiz, dubbed the most feared man, the most avoided man, however you want to look at it, in the heavyweight division, has to pick of his litter. He was in negotiations to fight Wilder, and Stavern said that, basically said that a step aside is almost agreed upon in the next couple of days. He said this at the Mayweather Open workout for McGregor media workout, or he said a couple of days or a week or so. But Ortiz can also fight Joshua, which I'll explain that situation in a second again. I reiterate like 1,000 times, but some people just don't get it, or some people are new to the page. But Ortiz is in a good spot finally. Is it a little bit too late with him being 38 or 39 and him being Cuban? He could be even older than that. Deontay Wilder put a video out there on the PBC YouTube channel, said they ain't scared of nobody, and gonna ask a couple questions here as well. But, which fight should Luis Ortiz take? He was the number one mandatory for the WBA title. It was ordered for him to face Vladimir Klitschko. I'm going over the story again. Klitschko said he didn't want to fight him. It wasn't worth his while to fight Ortiz. So Ortiz, let him fight, Joshua with the promise, and I guess in a written promise and some step-aside money probably, to let Joshua and Klitschko happen. He let it happen. 90,000 at Wembley Stadium. Klitschko got knocked out. And even with Klitschko rematch, Ortiz was supposed to be next in line no matter what. They tried to pull a fast one with Klitschko. Klitschko retired on their ass, fucked up Eddie Hearn and Joshua plans. Now Joshua's trying to run and fight Puev. And then the WBA gave Joshua 30 days to come to agreement for a bout and a date and a venue and all that other good ish, with Luis Ortiz in 30 days. They did about a week or two ago. And now, according to the WBA president, they're working with the IBF to accommodate Anthony Joshua so he can keep both his belts. So the IBF and the WBA are working out an agreement so he can either fight Puev or Joshua. And Joshua said if the WBA didn't force Joshua to fight him, or Ortiz said if the WBA didn't force Joshua to fight him, that he was sued through the Muhammad Ali Act. And, it sounded like the WBA was playing both sides with Eddie Hearn as far as that Klitschko thing. The Klitschko thing is out the way. So, pretty much Ortiz can be a good sport again and face Deontay Wilder and let Joshua fight Puev. And then, if he beats Wilder, he going to fight Puev. But the thing about it is this, just from a business and financial standpoint, I'm going to knock this out the way first. From a business standpoint, Al Heyman is very close with PBC, Showtime, and Steven Espinoza. That's the platform right there. He manages Deontay Wilder. He manages Luis Ortiz. We know that. But also, Showtime is attached to Anthony Joshua. They got a TV deal with Joshua. And we know Showtime money, funds PBC as well, and give them a platform to put they fights on. So, I would think that the PBC and the Showtime will want the biggest platform ever, for Joshua to get upset. They wouldn't want Ortiz to upset Joshua because he's pretty much a promotional nightmare, right now. He can't get fights. Nobody knows who he is. They would rather prefer Deontay Wilder beat Joshua if it happened, because a lot of people can identify with Wilder. He's American. He speaks English, and, he has some charisma about him. But, from a business standpoint for Al Heyman, why would he put two of his calls together to knock out one foe to make it easier for Anthony Joshua? I think he will advise Ortiz, if he was in Ortiz's favor, to go ahead and take, his mandatory shot, which is Anthony Joshua, and fight him. He probably, on a business standpoint, if he's thinking about his fighters and his fighters first, he would want to push that Joshua and Ortiz thing. In the meanwhile, on the undercard of that fight, they can do Deontay Wilder and Bermang Stavern. You know, and then Puev, and they can work out a situation with Puev, whatever, however that works. And you probably can get Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder later in 2018 after Puev, you know, does what he does with Joshua or winner Ortiz. But for Luis Ortiz, which one would be a better matchup for him as far as styles? And for me, as far as financially, Anthony Joshua will be a better fight for him. He going to get more money going wherever it is to fight Anthony Joshua. Let me say that first. Both fights are dangerous. I think the easier fight for Luis Ortiz will be Anthony Joshua. And I think Ortiz said it out of his mouth as well, from what I understand. For the simple fact that, you know, you see Joshua's flaws. And you always want to get the harder fighter out the way first. But in this situation, I think Joshua is a better boxer than Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder is awkward as fuck. Anthony Joshua is more textbook, and I think it makes for a more easier fight for Luis Ortiz. I think, you know, Joshua is not going to be able to, you know, be awkward and you know, just be like, Wilder is like just very awkward and long and tall. Joshua is very patient. He's a smooth boxer, but he's predictable. Very predictable in his attack. You know what he wants to bring. Well, Wilder, he's very unpredictable. You know, people say, well, Washington outboxed him, whatever like that. Washington was like his equal, 6'6", 6'7". Ortiz is more like 6'3". I think Ortiz's ability to offset some of Joshua's power and expose some of Joshua's deficiencies may make it a little bit easier for him. Wilder, you know, he's just such a wild card. I'm not saying that Wilder's a better fighter, but he's a wild card. He's very awkward. You know, that long jab, you know, that haymaker, you know, whatever the fuck, the windmill, the straight right hand, a little bit difficult. With Joshua, he does things by the book, so he's going to be able to easier be countered, and you know what to prepare for Joshua. With Deontay Wilder, you don't know what to prepare. He's just a wild card. And from that standpoint, the financial implications that he would make, you know, and Joshua's, you know, Joshua's just, you know what he's going to bring to the table. You know, he's textbook, good footwork and all that other good shit. But I would believe that he would want to take Joshua first. I think that's the easier fight for him. Just simply just not knowing what Wilder going to bring to the table. He's just so awkward and so weird. But I think, you know, business-wise, style-wise, I think Ortiz should go for Joshua. It makes more money. It makes more sense for him. And then he can come back and do a big clash or rematch with Joshua again. Or he come back and do a clash with Deontay Wilder, and that money's still there for him. I think he deserves the bigger bag of money, you know, with Joshua, than, you know, making a million with Wilder. But Joshua brings some more money, and that's why he's seen as the kingpin of the heavyweight division, because his popularity and the money he brings and the potential. So I think Joshua is the better fighter. I never argued that. But Wilder is just so fucking awkward, and it's a wild card, you know. You know, for Ortiz, that's a one-handed fighter. You know, either or would be a good fight that I would like to see, but I think Joshua is the fight that he should elect to take first. You know, especially if Al Heyman really has his best interest at hand instead of having Showtime's best interest in hand. But we'll see how it plays out. This your boy CJ Goodfellow with the Boxing Clinic.